So I have a problem. How in the world do you store this honey tank in a small camper like this? And one of our trips was about 6 months. And for RVers, one of the challenges that you have is to decide which campgrounds to stay at. Some of them have a full hookup, some of them don't have a full hookup. And what we've determined when we were staying at longer stays at these campsites, we needed something bigger. So we went down and we actually purchased the largest honey tank that we could get. And I think this is a 36 or 38 gallon. And it's really heavy. It's very difficult to pick up, but it's even more difficult to store this thing. Our pickup truck is usually full in the back. And recently we just bought or downsized to a camper that's smaller, better suited for us. And so what we needed to come up with is a solution to store this. So I have to figure out where to put this. And I believe a good solution is to put it somewhere on this bumper. However, you have to consider that sometimes when you install non-factory items to a newer camper, it may void your warranty. So just double check with that before you start. But I have this spare tire that's in this location, and over here we're gonna buy a ladder. And so there's not a lot of space. So what I'm gonna do is I am going to move the spare tire over here, and then I bought a kit to connect that huge honey tank to the back of the bumper. Okay, I have found out through trial and tribulation the easiest way to do this, since there's a lot of nuts and bolts and you only have two hands, is to go ahead and pre-assemble both of these items right here. And so what's going to happen is this is going to go on the outside of your bumper. This is going to go through. So put one end on first, and then just wrap this one around. And the same thing with this one here. Now I have it pressed all the way in until it hits the chassis. So you have probably about 6 inches or so of versatility to move in and out based on the size of your honey tank. When you're tightening these U-bolts down, just remember that your bumper is a tube, and so it's hollow on the inside. And actually, when we bought this camper, this tire of course was over here, and they tightened it down so tight that my sewage hose wouldn't even slide through. So I was kind of irritated about that. So you don't want that problem again. So just crank it down hand tight. It's self-locking nut, so it's not going to come off. But you do want to make sure and pull that it's not going to come out when you're driving down the road. And then all you do is you take your honey tank and put it on, and make sure that it is not full, because, well, number one, you won't be able to lift it up here, and these aluminum mounts are not rated at very much weight. So, okay, this honey tank mount actually comes with 2 straps, which is pretty neat, because a lot of the other ones don't come with any kind of strap or tie down to mount your honey tank. So I appreciate not having to buy extra equipment. And so there's tie down loops on both sides. You just hook one to this side, make sure there's no twist in the strap, and then come around here. And what I have found out is if I hook it to this one, then my actual ratchet is going to be behind the honey tank, and I don't want that. It's hard to operate. The light gets in the way, and you don't want your ratchet banging up against your camper. So I'm just going to route it through here and hook it to this side, and then pull it tight. Make sure both sides are kind of level. And then you're going to take this last strap, same kind of thing. Make sure everything's centered nice. And you can use some rubber bands or some tape to secure the loose ends, but you don't want it too loose, because otherwise it'll unravel and the car behind you will drive over with your loose ends. Not a fun thing to experience. Anyway, I'm pretty happy with the way this came out. It seems very sturdy. Of course, there's no liquid in it. This thing would be way too heavy. And now that I've got it in the right spot, my light can be seen, my spare tire is not touching it. I'll tighten that down, and then my ladder should just go straight down. And if I have any problems with the ladder, I can always slide or manipulate the tire or this over just a little bit. Hopefully this has helped you and has given you a good idea of how to store these huge honey tanks. Take care.